Hi, ladies. My name is Tiffany Spann, co-founder and partner of Crown Capital, and I'm so excited to be here at the Women's Wealth and Wellness Summit today and share with you my journey from 0 to 90 million in real estate. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and walk you through my journey on how I've made it happen. So today I'm sharing with you my $90 million playbook. So my journey from single family rentals to over 700 apartment units. Before I begin, I just want to leave you with one quote. A girl should be two things, who and what she wants, by Coco Chanel. Keep that in mind, ladies. So I want to give you a little bit of background about me. I was born to two wonderful parents who were blue collar workers that worked in the textile industry. We grew up in a very small town in Virginia. Following graduation, I went to the University of Maryland. Later in life, I had a son. He's now 11 years old. And he and my mini golden doodle spent a lot of time together, along with, you'll notice here, another lady and little girl who's my sister and niece. And as you move through the photos here, you'll see a group of women. I used to actually host a women's meetup that derived around real estate and real estate investing. You'll also notice another picture with a lot of people kind of congregating. And one thing that I really do enjoy is just hosting real estate events. And that's an event that I hosted. And now you'll notice at the middle left here, two of my partners, Noelle and Lupe, we formed Crown Capital together. So that's just a little bit about me and my background. So let's dive on in. Where I started, I reside in Bowie, Maryland. So I felt comfortable investing in my backyard, which my backyard would be considered either Washington, D.C. or Baltimore. Washington, D.C. is very overpriced. So I started investing in Baltimore, which is around 45 minutes for me. And so this was the portfolio that I started off with, some of which I've sold, a few I still have. The timing just hasn't been right to quite sell them. But I'm going to get into some details on this portfolio here and how I started and how I was able to grow into multifamily apartments. The journey. This is an actual picture, on-site work picture here of one of the projects that I had. My journey in real estate started with me doing everything myself. I was the general contractor. As you can see, these are actual inspection reports. I was on site nearly every single day while at the time running an IT company. So when it came to pulling the building permits, I did that. I also subbed out all of the plumbing and HVAC work, electrical work. I did a little bit of everything. So I had to wear many hats, general contractor being one of them. I was also the property manager. This is my son here several years ago. He was one of my biggest supporters. He's actually holding a for rent sign because, yes, I had for rent signs in the front yard or in the window. So I was the property manager, which meant that I was the maintenance coordinator, the bookkeeper, the marketing specialist. I did a little bit of everything, wore a lot of hats, and I was just trying to figure it out along the way, which I did. On top of having all of those responsibilities, I was the mortgage broker. So when it was time for me to either get a loan or refinance a loan, I was the one shopping for the loans. I was the financial planner, meaning I was the one putting together all of my pro formas and really digging into the numbers. I was my own legal advisor, putting together my leases, piecemealing them together, learning along the way what I found tenants to do. I would end up putting things in the lease, like don't put anything down the toilet that isn't toilet paper, for example. So I became my own legal advisor with that. And I was also my own leasing agent. So I held open houses. I was the one that ran background checks. I was the one who actually sent the lease over for the tenant to sign, and I would sign it back. So as you can imagine, wearing all of these hats and only having my little helper there, who was holding the sign, I got very frustrated very fast. Within the first few years, I was wondering how would I be able to continue to scale my portfolio when I was the one doing all of these things. And so I want to share with you the Cliffmont story. So this is one of my rentals. You see there in the background, it is absolutely trashed. So this is how it started. It was a beautiful home. It needed a little bit of renovations. I finished off the basement. I moved a door around so that it would actually comply with the Baltimore City inspections. I pretty much just had to really clean it up, did a few bathrooms over in the basement, and that was about it. And it was ready to go. I was able to get this place rent ready in about 2 to 3 weeks after purchasing the property. And so this is how it went. The tenant that I had was a program tenant that was in need of a home at the time. She was in a really bad domestic relationship and needed a place to stay very quickly. And again, she was a program tenant, so she actually already had the security deposit ready to go and was just ready to go. She seemed as if she was going to be a good tenant in the beginning. However, this is how it went. When she left, she did not tell me she had left. After several attempts of trying to get in contact with her, I had actually a property management company come in and check to see if she was still in the property, and she was not in the property. But this is how she left the property. She left everything from her toothpaste, toothbrushes of her kids, and even a baby grand piano. So this was the state in which she left the property. And so these are the numbers for Cliffmont Ave. I purchased the property for $74,000. I had to put down a 10% down payment, which was $7,400. Closing costs were around $3,000, and I profited around $3,500 a year, which I thought was pretty good because it was around $300, a little less than $300 per month profit after expenses. Once she left, the clean out was around $1,000 because she actually left 2 tons worth of debris and junk. The holding cost after she left was around $1,150. So that was the mortgage and the utilities total. So my total out of pocket while I was holding this home for around 13 months was $9,050. So at this point, I had two options. I could either keep the property or sell the property. And so you'll notice scenario one was keeping the property. If I decided to keep the property, just based upon the numbers I just showed you, it would take me around 2 years and 11 months to break even. If I decided to sell the property, I was going to sell it at auction. As you'll notice, there is a sell at auction for $5,000. It would cost me to sell at auction. But if I were to sell at auction, I would profit $27,950. So, provided these two scenarios, which scenario do you think I decided to go with? If you guess scenario two, you are correct. I decided to sell the property and cut my losses. And that's when I really had my aha moment. So I started thinking, how many single family homes would it take me to be financially free? At the time, financial security for me was $12,500. My average single family rentals, the profit was around $200 a door. Some, such as this one, I got a little bit more, but essentially I would need over 60 homes in order to become financially free or make my way to financial security, meaning I may be able to pay all of my bills and maybe one vacation a year. So the thought of that really started making me nervous, and it really made me think, how can I make this happen? Because I've always been told real estate was the way to go. 90% of millionaires own real estate. What am I doing wrong? So that's when I decided to pivot into multifamily investing. This is just an overview of my journey here. So in 2018, I had 3 doors. In 2019, 6 doors. 2020, 24 doors. So as you can see, I was steadily progressing along. But in 2021 is when I really had my breakthrough moment. That's when Crown Capital was formed. I met my partners and we were able to really scale together. So from 2021 onward, we were able to scale into multifamily. And as you'll notice, it's been an upward trajectory here. And these are the properties that we own. We actually sold the one in 2020. However, you'll notice in 2021, we picked up this 134 unit. In 2022, we had a package of 2 properties here. In 2023, we picked up this 292 unit. And then this is the property that we picked up here this year in 2024. So how did I get to 90 million in real estate? The vehicle that I used was a real estate syndication. So a real estate syndication is when a group of investors pull their money together to buy a property that they wouldn't be able to purchase on their own. And in a real estate syndication, there are 2 types of investors. You have your active investor, which is me. As an active investor, I'm the one that sources the property, supervises the property manager, who hires the contractors and the workers. And I mean, we receive equity and fees for being the sponsors of the real estate syndication because we're pulling together the entire deal so that our passive investors can contribute the capital and essentially collect what we call mailbox money. And they also receive equity and dividends in the property, meaning they're actually part owner without having to deal with the day-to-day responsibilities. Why I love real estate. So there's many reasons why I love real estate, but these are some of the top reasons why I like real estate. First off is the diversification. Most of my money was in the stock market. So real estate provided me a vehicle of diversification away from the stock market. Real estate also has great tax benefits and depreciation benefits. It's also great for leverage. When you start owning real estate and have an equity in real estate, you're able to buy even more real estate. Appreciation is another great reason why I love real estate. Real estate is also a great inflation hedge. Back during the COVID times when the prices of, services and goods continuously went up, so did rents. So, I mean, it definitely helped with the inflation hedge. And it can also be a great vehicle when it comes to passive income if done right. Why I love commercial real estate. So bigger does equal better. The reason why I say so is that I'm able to acquire more quality assets and hire professionals. The professionals on the property management side are on a whole nother tier of professionalism when it comes to managing properties. Also, one of the great things when it comes to apartments are the economies of scale. So the more units you have under a roof, the cheaper the maintenance becomes. You're able to really streamline operations and really reduce your costs. So it's a lot cheaper to maintain and operate more doors under a single roof versus lots of doors spread out across the city or even a block for that matter. Also, one of the primary reasons I love commercial real estate is because of the valuation. With residential real estate, you're looking at comparable properties located within a certain amount of distance away from that property. And when I say residential, I mean 4 units or below. And when I say commercial, I mean 5 units and above. So when it comes to commercial property valuation, it's actually primarily based upon the net operating income, which means if you control the income and you're able to grow your net operating income, you're also controlling your value. So I'd like to tell you a story about one of our first multifamily properties that we acquired, the Seventh Ave story. This is a 24 unit located in Miami, Florida. So we purchased this property from a mom and pop. You'll notice when we first purchased the property, this is actually the real spreadsheet with the rent roll here on it. So in month one, you'll notice that some people were paying as low as $300 a month. The couple that we purchased this property for, they really didn't want too much to do with the property anymore. They kept rents the same. They weren't into profiting off of this property. They bought it years and years ago and nearly owned it outright. So we were able to get owner financing through this couple and actually take over the property. We owned the property for around 33 months. And during this time, we were able to increase the monthly rents by almost $10,000, and the annual rent increase by nearly $120,000. So you can see the upward trajectory here month over month over month. So at the end of month 12, we had already brought the annual rent up to 223,000, whereas in month one we started with an annual total of around 104,000. So in just 33 months, we were able to increase the value by 950,000. So we purchased the property in December of 2020 for 2.1 million, and we were able to sell the property in September of 2023 for 3.05 million. So we were able to create a lot of value during that time. We created the value, and then we were able to cash flow for a little while, and then we sold. And funny story is, we actually sold to the University of Miami. So things to consider when investing in real estate. Real estate investing is an investment that's capital intensive, meaning you just can't cash out your liquid like you can in the stock market. It's really a long-term strategy and a long-term play. Many times when it comes to multifamily and syndications in general, you're going to hold the property anywhere from 3 to 5 years, sometimes 10 years. It all depends on the business plan. And when I say business plan, I mean, is it a value add? Meaning, are we going in, turning the units, and raising the rents? Is it a complete reposition? Meaning that we are taking a property from, let's just say, a C-class property to a B-class property, meaning that that would mean something that's very extensive renovations that are going to take a long time. And so there's several external factors to really think about. But again, I mean, real estate is definitely an investment. It's capital intensive, it's not liquid, and it's a long-term wealth building strategy. So the winning formula. When it comes to multifamily investing, it's not exactly the easiest thing to get into on the active side. However, there is a winning formula when it comes to multifamily investing, and here it is. You may notice this guy. Do you know who he is? Warren Buffett. You got it. The most important investment you can make is in yourself. So invest in yourself. That's the first thing. You may notice this guy as well. Do you know who this guy is? Tony Robbins. Proximity is power. If you want to turn your goals into reality faster, then get yourself in proximity with people who are playing the game at a higher level than you do. Ladies, stay close to winners. Stay close to those who are playing at a higher level than you, because they will inherently bring you up and you're going to be able to bring other people up. And the third part of the winning formula is velocity of money. If you want to be rich, you need to keep your money moving. The velocity of your money determines the size of your wealth. So diversify, keep your money moving, and remember, the velocity of your money determines the size of your wealth. Now, I'd love to stay in touch with you. Feel free to join my free community here, Multifamily Millionaires. If you're interested in learning about how you can invest in multifamily, just simply scan this QR code here and it'll take you to my free community where you can join. You can also stay in touch by following me on IG. So you can actually just scan this QR code here. I'm Tiff the Investor on IG. I'm more than happy to connect with you and get to know you more. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you, ladies. It's been a pleasure.